Today I'm going to tell you a story about another AMC story, and my older brother had bought a 1972 Gremlin X. Now people either liked them or hated them, and it was a 304, but in 72 they'd already started changing things, so it's compression was dropped, but it was still a 4-barrel. I had cut the exhaust off and we had dual exhaust, and it had stiff suspension, it had disc brakes up front, and it was tight steering, but everything was manual. And it had a 3-speed with a Mr. Gasket shifter. It was called the Mr. Gasket Bang Shifter. And because I was working on it, my brother says, you can take it out. So I drive it to the place where all my buddies are, and I pulled up and it looked pretty cool because it was black and it had these gold stripes, and like that year the bumpers were all tucked in, and the gold stripes went at the same length as the body line. They didn't do any of that curving up or stupid stuff. It was really, I thought, a pretty cool car. And when you drove this thing, let's say if you were at an intersection, you were going to turn right or left, you'd rev it up, like 2,500 RPM, drop the hammer, and all of a sudden she'd be in a fishtail, and all you had to do was tap the shifter and it would suck right up into second gear, and it'd be crossed up, and then you just let go of it and it would straighten up again and hammer down and go 95 miles an hour. That's it. 5,000 RPM, it just stopped breathing. It was just 95. It had 390 gears in it. It had leaf springs in the back, and it had these traction control, links on it. So when I show up at this guy's house, and everybody's showing up with their cars, this guy's going, whose piece of shit is this? Why would you waste the money? And I says, it's faster than that Slowsmobile Cutlass you got. It was a 1970 Olds Cutlass. And he goes, what? He goes, let's run them right now. So I says, all right. And he goes, we got money on this? And I was too cheap. I didn't want to race him for money. And I take him to a place where I think it's going to be secluded, because out where we lived was way out in the country. And I take him to this road that goes toward the lake. And normally it's just all farm fields on the side and everything. It's a real long straightaway. So we line him up, and I'm really thinking that I'm going to have a job here racing against this 350 Oldsmobile. And as soon as I let the clutch out, I was so far ahead of him, and I just wanted to embarrass him. I'm banging through the gears, and I just really walked away from him. And by then I'm going 95 miles an hour, but then there's a hill and a curve and a drop off, and then there's train tracks. So I backed off, and when you backed off out of the throttle, after you got stick shift and it's, it topped out, she slows down to 90 miles an hour. I mean, from 95 to about 70. I figure I'm going 70. But I come over the hill, and it had real taut suspension. But in mid-flight of going over this hill, I see the farmer is taking his cattle and crossing the road. My heart's up in my throat. And immediately my foot goes on the clutch, and I'm on the brakes, and when it came down, the tires are already skidding, and the road curves like this, and my brother's car is spinning donuts like this, and I'm looking at, every time I'm swinging around, I see in the rearview mirror, I see this farmer with this walking stick, and the cows are even looking, because this thing's making noise. And his eyeballs are popping out, and finally I just took it from third up to second, and I revved the engine, dumped the clutch, and I got the wheels smoking, and I'm still going backward as I'm getting closer and closer to these cows, and as I'm going backwards, I see this Oldsmobile Cutlass come flying over this hill, and the same thing, you see his eyeballs bugging out. And by now I had slowed down enough, and I just missed the cattle that are being walked across this road. And I got my tires smoking already. I'm going this direction, and here comes this Oldsmobile Cutlass spinning donuts too, because he hit the brakes while he was, all the suspension weight was off. And when he came down, he's spinning off and he goes down into the field. But I'm already taking off the other direction and hit him. When he come back to the place where we were hanging out, there was a dent in his car because the farmer took that walking stick and threw it at him because he didn't stick around. You know, he had the car bashing through the field and got back out on the road, and he came back to where we were. And we always laugh about that story.